Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sports with Skiz, episode 26. And this is a very, very special one. We're transitioning a little bit now into college basketball. That's right. We're doing college football and college basketball. We're tightening up on our skills right now. So bear with us. If you love hoops, listen along. So it's going to be a fun season. So we already had the opening night last night. Monday, November 3rd. We're moving on to Tuesday, November 4th. This episode will be dropping today, so we apologize if you're behind, but we're working through some scheduling stuff. We're going to be better moving forward. How about it, Knock?
Oh man, dude. Music to my ears. We are now in the type part of the year where we are in full effect. Every sport is on, and even when football is done, we will have basketball, college basketball, hockey. So I'm super lit, dude. I'm super excited. We saw some college basketball action last night. Arizona upsets Florida. Koa Pete, the freshman, looked awesome.
Hmm.
Another freshman I want to talk about, Insta. BYU didn't cover. Good shout out Villanova for playing a great game, but this kid 9 of 18, 21 points, 1 of 1 from downtown. So a lot of hype behind BYU. They spent a lot of money on their team.
Hmm.
This is going to be an exciting basketball season, Mike. I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, me too. That game last night, BYU and Villanova, I stayed up a little bit. I did end up falling asleep, but BYU is everything and more. It's funny. I saw someone on Twitter tweeted out a video of the game last night and said that BYU is looking like Norfolk State now that they got NIL money and they're not just relying on all the white dudes. So I was laughing at that. Hey, if you got it, spend it. Why not? If I had, millions and millions of dollars, I would definitely be donating it to my favorite college team. So I'm excited, man. We'll get it kicked off. Knock, go ahead and lead us off with your first game that you're looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, dude. This is a funny one to start it off. NJIT versus Fordham. Uh, New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Brainiacs.
Spreads at 15 and a half, the over under 146. Now, guys, like money lines are going to be way different. Uh, NJIT's plus 1,000. All right. It's strictly me talking about Fordham and you guys listening. Mike, couple of things you're going to hear about me in basketball this year. There's two things I'm going to speak on a lot: the A10 and New York ball. Okay. I love
Hmm.
New York hoops, teams like a seat. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm drawing a
St. John's.
drawing a blank. Not just St. John's. There's um oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank.
Syracuse.
No, they're
Are you
not.
Colgate?
The Binghamtons of college basketball.
Manhattan, Fairfield.
Love those. I love those teams. All right, so sorry about that. I had a
I
major
don't even know if Fairfield's in New York. I kind of just threw that out there.
boom, boom. So look, talk about Fordham. The Rams bring in Mike MacPayo after letting go of Keith Ergo. In 22-23, Fordham had a pretty good team. They were 25-8. The last two seasons, they only had 25 combined wins. So they said, Ergo, Argo, time to get you out of here. Magpio is here. Listen, this dude is stellar, Mike. And if you watch UC Riverside last year, and over the past couple of years, this guy Magpio has built himself a program over there. But 89 and 63 as a head coach. The 20 years prior to Magpio getting to Riverside, they were 205 and 386. That is a whopping 3.47 win percentage. That's 3 wins out of every 10 games. So this guy knows how to rebuild a program. I'm excited about this guy, Mike. I really am. I'll be honest. He's a sweetheart. And he's just the nicest guy. He's a player's coach. He's a huge sports fan, Seahawks fan. He talks about Arizona State football's head coach a lot. And listen, this dude, he's got the gift of gab and he's got a knack with these players, and not just any players. We're talking about players from out of the country. 5 players come to Fordham from outside of the country, 4 for Australia, 1 for France, and 1 for
Mm.
Japan. Okay, or 3 for Australia. Um,
They're kind of turning into St. Mary's of the East Coast, huh?
Right. I think that's what's going on here. I don't know. He's got just the nicest swag about him. You know what I mean? It's not cool, but he's just, again, great with the players. Junior forward Akira Jacobs, he comes from Hawaii. He's Japanese. He's a 7-footer. And, again, 5 players from outside of the country. You don't have too many expectations from Fordham coming into the year, especially with them only having 12, 13 wins last year. But they replaced the old roster with 6 grad transfers. They chose to pick efficient ball players based off of their stats and their analytics. Mike, this guy is taking the Oakland A's Moneyball route. The way that he's bringing his players in, literally and figuratively. You see that with coaches such as Rick Pitino coming into the season, and you're going to see it with a bunch of other programs as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Fordham gets 17 to 20 wins this year under Mac.
Yeah.
NJIT, I just keep it brief. They suck. 6-25 last season, 7-21 the year prior. Grant Billmeyer is their head coach, and they're gonna need a lot. They're gonna need a lot to bounce back from 6 and 7 wins. But it's growing pains. It's college hoops. It's the New Jersey Institute of Technology. They're getting 5 stars and too many recruits or transfer portal guys. So listen, I'll keep it short and sweet. Give me Fordham to cover. The spread, I will let you guys know, did start at 13.5, jumped to 15.5. So everybody's on.
It's at 16.5 now. I'd take it. I'd still take it.
We're riding with Fordham. Let's ride. We'll ride.
I'll ride with Fordham as well too. Yeah, shout out, not to shit on NJIT too much, but they also went 1-16 on the road last season, so they're god awful. They're not as bad as their second ever season in the NCAA, which came in 2007 and 2008. They went 0-29 that year, followed by a 1-30 record. So their best season was in 2018, 2019, 22 and 13. I don't think that they'll do much of anything this year. I'm sorry, Fordham. I think that they definitely can kind of just not necessarily build on last year because their overall record sucked, but they shot 46.9% from the field. So there's a lot of room for improvement. And they did allow opponents to score 78 points per game. So I would expect that to come down a little bit more with the new coaching regime coming in there. And why not? I mean, the A10 is great. You're going to be able to get recruits or those guys from higher programs who don't really get a lot of tick that want to come play. And Fordham is a beautiful, beautiful campus. So I'm also going to be with you on Fordham minus 16.5. I will take that for sure.
Right.
Let's ride. Moving over to my first game that I like here. I'm rocking out with Evansville going on the road to the Purdue Boilermakers. So there are no money line bets on this because obviously Purdue is ranked #1 in the nation, and Evansville's mascot is the Purple Aces. So they're not going to give you a money line for that. Right now it is Purdue minus 35.5. Over under is 150. So this is Matt Painter's best team that he's had coming into his season. Again, they're the preseason #1 overall team in the country. They're a heavy favorite to be elite basically again, and they do enter this season with top billing and scoring returning pieces. So this should be a statement home opener for them and a chance to set the tone. So Braden Smith is their best returning player, the stud senior. He had a great year last year. He's basically their centerpiece. So he's an AP preseason All-American, and he's what's going to drive that Purdue offense. So how he starts and how he plays is how the rest of the team is going to play. And speaking of other players, they did bring in a big, talented big man of Oscar Clough, who was averaging 18 points and 12 rebounds a game last year at South Dakota State. He's a 6'11 center, not as tall as those guys that Matt Painter usually likes. We see those 7'6 guys, 7'3 guys, but this game is basically just a David versus Goliath essentially. So what I expect from Evansville, I don't really expect a lot, but I think they're going to try to push the pace of play and try to attack, gaps that they really can, even though there won't be many for them to with how good this Purdue team plays, especially its half-court game. So it limits second chance points, and it should control the game throughout the majority of it. Evansville hasn't been to the NCAA tournament since 1999. I will say they did add a couple of 3-star transfers, one being my boy Marlon Barnes Jr. from the University of Pittsburgh. So 2 other names to really watch out for Evansville, I guess, that's kind of returning. They had big games in their scrimmage this year, but Josh Hughes and Keyshawn Porter are going to be the names to watch for Evansville. So shout out to those guys. And with that being said, give me Purdue minus the points. I think they're going to win big.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing, I hate Purdue. I can't stand anything about them. There's nothing like literally Purdue basketball. Hate them, hate them. Kaufman, Wren, Braden Smith. Those guys are tough. They're good ball players, man. They are. They're well coached team. I just don't like. There's just something about them that I can't like. I just won't. Um, so I mean, obviously I'm gonna take him to cover versus Evansville with you there. I just feel like that's a safe bet. But I mean, like Braden Smith isn't as good as people say he is. I'm sorry, he's just not. I'm just not. I'll never be convinced. I'll never be convinced. I've been watching Purdue the last 4 years, so I've seen Braden Smith a lot. He's a good ball player. So don't let me. I'm slighting him a little bit there. By the way, find a money line. Purdue is minus 100,000. That's not a
Oh,
joke.
you found it?
Yeah, it's on Bleacher Report. Purdue's my uh
That's funny. On ESPN, it's just grayed out. I
yeah,
figured it was gonna be when the spread gets to be that big.
I'm sure they've got to have it somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, I really not much from me for Evansville. I pray for them. I hope that they just go out there and have fun tonight.
Yeah, I hope both teams have fun.
Um, I'll hop into my second game, Mike, because my squad's playing tonight. West Virginia Mountaineers,
Oh,
baby.
you're not a Duke guy anymore?
These Mountaineers, by the way. So the Mountaineers versus the Mountaineers. I'm rooting for the Mountaineers, and there's only one winner. It's the Mountaineers. Spreads at 20, 19 and a half. Over-under's kind of low at 138 and a half. And understandably so, West Virginia's offense wasn't good last year, but they replaced basically their entire roster. We welcome Coach Ross Hodge. Mike, a team that we spoke about a lot in college football this year is North Texas. Well, North Texas was pretty damn mean in basketball as well over the last couple of years. Coach Hodge, 27-9 last season, and then 19-15 the year prior. Believe it or not, I've actually watched quite a bit of North Texas basketball. They're one of those teams that will play a Monday tournament at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I've caught them. And listen, they bring over West Virginia's brought in so much talent, not just talent to fit the style of West Virginia basketball, which is just stellar defense. You know what I mean? Full court press, but they have shooters, real time buckets. Tucker DeVries from Drake or DeVries from Drake. My goodness, what a ball player. Harlan Obioha, the 7-footer. He's 65% from the field, a great rim protector and a board grabber. Brennan Laurie from North Texas and Jasper Floyd. Not only do these kids get active on defense, Brennan Lorian shoots 48% from beyond the arc. 48%. It's like not even human. That's not human. That's inconceivable, Mike. That is the best in the nation by far. Jasper Floyd, 42% from the floor himself, a versatile guard. He just fits West Virginia basketball too. He's a tough guy. Chance Moore, they stud gamer from St. Bonaventure. Mike, I love the Bonnies. I love the Bonnies, man. Averaged 13 points last year. It's Jackson Fields. He's hurt. He comes in from Troy. He started 33 or 40 games. I can't even sit still in my seat. West Virginia is going to be good basketball this year. Trayson Eaglestaff. They bring this kid in. He's 40% from beyond the arc. They shoot. They play defense. But listen, Mount St. Mary's, 23-12 last year. They won the MAAC. They lost by 44 points to Duke in the tournament. But honestly, they beat Miami last year. Miami sucked. I mean, sucked really bad, like a 6-7 win team last.
Hmm.
But they lost by 34 to Maryland. They lost by 28 to Georgetown. They do remain continuity. I mean, this team brings back basically almost every player from last season, which is nice. You love to hear about it, but I just don't see I just don't see where they cover versus West Virginia, but I'm gonna guarantee I love the over in this game. Four
Yeah.
St. Mary starters averaged double figures last year. On top of the scoring that West Virginia brings in, give me the over.
Yeah, I like that. And one thing I love the head coach for West Virginia. I hate that he kind of went there with me obviously being a Pitt fan. So one thing I am interested to see is how they mesh together, at least the first couple of games with having so many transfers. Sometimes it can take a little bit to get everybody going. I kind of saw that last night with my Pitt Panthers. They kind of let Youngstown State hang around, and then they did eventually end up covering, winning by 15. But one thing that I think will help out Mount St. Mary's, like you said, is they are bringing back a lot of their, key contributors or players that they had from last season. Speaking of Xavier Lipscomb and Alderus Keys. So those two guys, they have the experience of getting to the dance. They have the experience of playing with each other. So pause. I do like the over. And if I was leaning a certain way, I would lean Mount St. Mary's to cover, but I could see West Virginia winning this game by 25, 30 points. I just think it's going to be a little bit closer just to start. I guess in the first game, not even trying to be a hater, because I do think West Virginia, they had a great season last year. I think this team could be better than last year as well, at least starting out as well.
Yeah, I don't know if they've got like the bigs that they had last year. West Virginia had some pretty stellar bigs last year. I agree with you. 20 points is a lot. That's kind of what made me favor the over more so than the spread. So I'm with you on
Mhm.
that. Again, like I said, this isn't like some slouch Mount St. Mary's team that won 6 games last year. This is a good,
Right.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
they're, but they're
This is a team I could see like some universities being a little bit nervous to schedule their first game, similar to um I'm trying to think of even like who. There's some games I'm thinking of last night, like Auburn beating Bethune-Cookman in overtime. Like some teams are taking them to the brink. I think NIL and the transfer portal has really helped, more specifically basketball, because you're getting a lot of teams like Rick Pitino came out and said that they weren't even going to go after any high school players last year. They were going to go onto the portal. So a lot of these teams, I think, are going to the portal to where it leads some of these, you know, maybe not 4 stars, but like a little bit of higher threes, maybe average 3 stars that could step in and play right away with a Mount St. Mary's or like a Robert Morris, who we'll talk about later as well. So I think that basketball as a whole is just a lot closer than what like football is, from like D1 to D1 AA, even though there is no D1 AA in basketball,
right,
if that
right.
makes sense, So follow me along there. Sorry to kind of ramble on
Oh,
with
no,
that.
well said, though.
Moving over to my second game, a team that I really, really despise. I think honestly, I hate them in basketball more than I hate West Virginia or any other team. They're up there with Gonzaga. Can't stand Gonzaga, but we got Duke taking on Texas. I hate Puke. Can't stand them. They're minus 10.5 right now against Texas. So talking about Texas right now, they actually have never beaten Duke. They're 0-5 all time, but they are entering a new regime under Sean Miller, who came over to replace Rodney Terry. So they brought in some good recruits. They have 2 4 stars from high school, but they really did make a lot of noise in the transfer portal. So they brought over a couple of key guys. That'll help, I think, strengthen this team. Specifically, Dalen Swine from Xavier. He followed Sean Miller over. You got Simeon Wilcher from St. John's. He's a 4 star. And then the big man, 7 footer, 245 pounds from FAU with Mattis Volkietitis. I'm sorry, the foreigner names I'm very, very bad with, but then they also added another 4 star too. So this could help Texas out a lot. I did see Mattis was listed as questionable, so he might not be in the game. I think he's battling like a foot injury or something like that. But along with the new coach, Texas went out and they kind of got, some guys in the portal and a couple of 2 4 stars from the high school ranks that I think could step in and help out this Texas team sooner rather than later. And moving over to the other side, talking about John Shire and Duke, we talked about Texas going out and getting some good recruits. Duke might have had the best recruiting class of all time come in. They got 2 5 stars and they got, I think, 3 4 stars is what it was, or 3 5 stars, 2 4 stars that are all going to contribute this year. No one is probably not going to see playing time. And that's specifically highlighted by the Boozer twins, more specifically Cameron Boozer. This dude is a beast, 6'9, 235. He could really stretch the floor. They went out and they got a international superstar, no pun intended, with Dame Sar as his name, 6'7", 190 out of Italy. So that'll be extremely exciting to see. I'm really excited, even though I hate Duke. I think that this year's team, we know their past, Knock. You know their past. They love to live and die by the three. I think they're going to have a lot more versatility than they did in years past, but they're also still going to be able to stretch the floor a lot more than what we've seen as well too. So with Texas's big man looking a little bit of shaky, Duke's size, depth, and ability to dominate the paint, I do like Duke in this game. I do think 10.5 points is a lot. I could see Texas covering, but I don't know. I think the pace is really going to be something that's going to dictate play. So I think Duke is basically going to try to have more of a control half court game where I could see Texas maybe pushing in transition a little bit. And one thing that I do think that could help out Texas is just their veteran leadership with the guys that they went out and got in the portal. They went out and brought in 4 or 5 guys that are 5 stars that have, big time playing ability at big universities. So with that being said, as much as I hate Duke, I will take them minus 10.5, but I would not be surprised to see Texas cover this game.
Yeah, with the Boozer twins, it's hard for me to like not take Duke. It's really all about the guard play for me. What kind of guard player are we going to get out of Duke? I honestly didn't look too much into who they grabbed through the portal, or they have a couple of.
I don't think they got anybody through the portal. I think they got one person, a big man from Rice, that was not even ranked as a star.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I'll look at their roster now. Yeah, like my history with Duke is a little weird. I grew up really loving Duke. I actually grew up watching John Shire when he played, Nolan Smith, Kyle Singler, those guys. Um, there got to a certain point where Duke started getting, you know, the Jabari Parkers of the world, and things of that nature, and see Zion and Cooper Flag, and I at some point I just stopped rocking out with them. I'm not a big fan of Duke anymore. I actively root against them these
Hell
days.
yeah.
But I am gonna have to take Duke to cover the 9.5 here, strictly off the Boozer brothers. I know that sounds super inconsistent to me. So, I'm sorry, Texas.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well too. But again, I wouldn't be shocked to see Texas cover or potentially even win outright. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sold on any of these games for the most part, besides Purdue beating the shit out of Evansville.
Yeah, I mean, well, this next one I'm feeling pretty good about, but it just kind of depends here of what you're getting. So Hawaii faces off against Oregon.
Hmm.
Another year, another Dana Altman season on that beautiful, beautiful court that they have there in Eugene. Oregon,
And those uniforms. Huh.
absolutely, absolutely. And they keep some continuity with Jackson Shellstad, Nate Biddle. They add guys like Miles Goodman from Penn State, Takai Simpson from Elon, Devin Pryor from Texas, Sean Stewart, Ohio State, Eki Demir, he's a 7-footer. Wei Lin from China. We don't know what we're going to see from Wei Lin. A lot of preseason hype around him. Um, what's you okay?
No, 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 nothing. Sorry.
No, you're good. You know, Jackson Shellstad has a broken hand right now, so he'll be out for the next 6 weeks. I'm kind of interested and a little bit nervous to say that I want to take Oregon to cover the spread here tonight. I do think they're the better team. I do think Hawaii lost a couple of guys. On top of that, they lost their head coach. But let's keep with Oregon for a moment. They lost by 4 to Arizona in the second round. They lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten tournament last year. And then they also lost to Michigan by 4 points in a close one. They've added their pieces. Like I said, Shellstad's out for the next couple of weeks. Could that hinder the team? Could that slow them down? Really, Nate Biddle is the glue. When Nate Biddle last year was off the floor, Oregon's offense, uh, what's the word? They really struggled. They really, really struggled when he wasn't out there. They didn't perform nearly as well. And, Hawaii really isn't bad basketball by any means. Aaron Gannett is a coach. Um, I'm sorry, they didn't lose their head coach from Hawaii. I'm thinking of Magpio. He came from Irvine. He stole a couple of players from Hawaii. Excuse me. But Aaron Gannett, 171, 118 as a head coach there at Hawaii. They definitely have an opportunity to be one of the better teams in the Big West, top 5 for sure. If I'm not, if I'm being confident here, I like Hawaii. I don't think that they're too bad. They had a down season last year, but they have good size. They have a decent backcourt. Without Jackson Shellstat for Oregon, I don't know what their offense is going to be like, what their playmaking is going to be like. Is um, Waylon, excuse me, is he that guard that's just a preseason hype kind of guy? Is he going to get some minutes? I don't know. Can Hawaii force the turnovers early? Their size can also hurt them if Oregon starts knocking down shots. Like you said with the West Virginia game, Mike, because it's new, it's because the season's just opening up and just starting and kicking off and tipping off. I'm going to take the under here. I think this is a game where both of these teams get off kind of slow.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I will take Oregon minus 12 and a half as well too. So I don't really know too much about Hawaii. They do, typically have a decent team. Like you said, it was a down year. I did see that they brought in it looked like a three-star recruit for basketball in Hunter Carter. So we'll see how he does, the freshman out of Oregon. I think he could see some early PT, but I think Oregon's just one of those teams that I could see dominating this first game and just kind of finding their rhythm. They're playing the same offense that they've had under the same coach for a while. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely going to try to check this game out, even though it does come on at 10:30, which sucks on the East Coast. But give me the Ducks.
Yes, sir. Quack, quack, baby. We're taking the duck.
Quack,
I like it.
quack, quack. Yeah, quack, quack. So moving over to my last game, we're going to keep it close to home here with Robert Morris, Bobby Moe going on the road to Iowa. This game actually, I feel like it tipped. No, that's the Purdue game that tips off pretty soon. But right now it is Iowa. I do believe that they are minus 22 and a half, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, minus 22 and a half. Over under is 136 and a half. So it'll be exciting to see what Robert Morris does this year after coming off their 26-9 season last year under Andy Toole, who's actually coming into his 15th year coaching Bobby Moe at the Realm. For those of you guys who remember, Robert Morris kind of took Alabama to the brinks in that first round, lost in some heartbreaking fashion, but they kept it close. They had the lead for a little bit until the refs took over and showed you that it was a ref show that we were going to have. So, funny enough for Robert Morris is they're actually going to be playing last year's Horizon Conference Player of the Year and their best player from last year, and Alvaro Fulgueres, the big man who transferred to Iowa this offseason. So it'll be interesting to see. There's been a lot of change with Bobby Moe. Obviously, they lost Alvaro, but they did lose others, including Amarion Dickerson to USC in the portal as well too. One guy to keep an eye on, Ryan Prather Jr. He's the team's returning leading scorer, excuse me. So I look for him to kind of take over that leadership role and see, what goes on. But as we've talked about with a couple of teams in this preview, excuse me, there's a new era in Iowa City. So Coach Ben McCollum comes over from Drake to take the Iowa job. And not only does he come over, but he brings over one of the best transfers in the country, the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, Bennett Sturtz, who averaged 20 points a game and shot just under 40% from three. The craziest thing about that, so he follows Ben over from Drake University. And the other crazy thing is he's not the only one. They bring over four other Drake players in the transfer portal that follow. And then not only that, they go out and they get Brendan Housen, a four-star transfer from Kansas State. We already talked about Alvaro from RMU. And then they also went out and got Isaiah Johnson from Miami, another four-star. So Iowa has had a lot of turnover, roster turnover, I guess I should say, from this offseason. I'm very excited to see how they do. I think Ben McCollum is a very, very good coach. And Iowa did have a really down year last year. So with that being said, as much as I love Bobby Moe, I just don't know what they're going to be able to do this year. So I will be taking Iowa minus 22 and a half.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock out with you on that one. The Drake Hawkeyes, like you said, six players last year come over. Iowa, they've got a ton of talent right now, and this guy McCollum really knows how to coach it. Um, yeah, I like Iowa minus 22 and a half. Iowa's one of those teams over the last few years. They're like not horrible at basketball. You know what I mean? Like they're good,
Hmm.
not great. Uh,
Right.
so like I'd like to see where they go this year in the Big Ten as well. So they're definitely
Yeah.
in that conference.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I mean that's really it for all my games. Knock, do you have any others that you're looking forward to tonight? I do have some shout outs from yesterday, the first day, like tip off from
Yeah.
college basketball, but not sure if you have anything else from today.
Yeah, watch out for Georgia Southern going into East Carolina and beating them. Kentucky plays tonight versus Nicholls State. Sacred Heart, Mike. Sacred Heart was the team that I was drawing a blank on earlier. You're gonna
Mm,
hear a lot about me talking about Sacred Heart. Shout out to Boston University. There's a youngster from Mike and I, myself's hometown, who is a freshman there. He didn't play today, but we're rooting for you, Dante Tysinger from
yes, sir.
Johnson, man. Excited.
Yeah, all-time leading scorer in Johnstown history. Shout out to you, brother. Make the most of your opportunity. You know the 814 is going to be cheering you on. So shout out to you, my boy. Also, shout out to Hawaii Pacific for going up to Boise, Idaho and beating the Broncos 79-78. Knock, did you see anything about this school? It's literally in a shopping mall.
Yes, yes. It's in a
It's crazy.
like they play in like a YMCA.
It's like 1,000, if that, it fits their crowd. D2, Hawaii Pacific.
Yep, yep.
That was nuts. The Sharks, I love it. They played very, very well. Another team too to shout out. It pains me to say this just because I do love Jamie Dixon. I got to see him, take Pitt to new heights that I never saw before as a kid. But New Orleans goes to TCU and beats them 78-74. So shout out to New Orleans. I want to say that last year they only had like 4 to 6 wins, if that. They were a terrible team. And to, go to a Big 12 school and knock them off in their first game, I just got to tip my hat to you guys.
Yeah, and check out guys, check out UNC Greensboro tonight versus Kansas State. I just don't know why they're a 20-point favorite. I know they had that run last year, two not last year, 2 or 3 years in the tournament, but like that's very plausible there with Greensboro covering 19 and a half. So just keep that in mind. Um, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything here. Uh, oh, Stanford, Portland State. Watch out for Portland State as well. Portland State's pretty good basketball. Those guys, Sacramento State's good. Oh, I can't wait to watch Sac State this year. Um,
Pause.
my yeah. Super Bowl. And I wanted to highlight my young and Cayenne Anthony had 15 points last night. They play Wagner College, another, I think that's a New York school. So yeah, I'm rooting for Syracuse heavy this year.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Syracuse, except for when they play against Pitt. Although your boy was gatekeeping New York and said if you're not born in the city of New York, you're not from New York, which I didn't really fully agree with, especially now that he goes to school at Syracuse.
Nice,
Um,
I get the pass.
Yeah, you get the pass. You're good. You're good. Um, but yeah, I mean, besides that, welcome everybody again to the first college basketball show that we're doing here. We're going to be doing this all year long as well too. So buckle up. Again, make sure you go follow us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on all of our socials at Sports with Skiz, and we're really looking forward to this, and we're ready to put in some work.
Oh yeah, a whole new season starting up for us. So if you didn't like seeing our faces before, you sure as hell aren't gonna like seeing them now. We're locked in and ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate all you guys tuning in and gals tuning in and listening. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will be back Thursday. So keep your head on a swivel. Hell
Nice.
yeah. Good
Okay,
shit.
well, another one in the
Good shit.
books.
Hell yeah. Knock that out in an hour, too. That was
Ah,
good.
yeah, that was good.
We kept that very well. Good shit.
Uh,
I'll send you a picture.